The world keeps getting better when women make it a habit to fix each other's crowns and exclusively focus on picking up the broken pieces in the lives of other women. With great passion for women, children, and marriages, your hosts, Ntwatwa Evelyn, bring you the irresistible Woman to Woman reality talk show. Feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more about this eventful and exciting show. Woman to Woman reality talk show.
I realized that
like they just don't return.
Yes. I think that is where conflicts in most cases arise from. Like when you give and give and give out yourself more and you are not receiving, when you are not getting that return, I realize that that is where conflicts begin from.
It's very draining
in relationships. So ladies, that becomes a conflict.
Yeah.
Can we get deep into the conflicts? How do you go about that? What are conflicts? That
Like
is a conflict already.
It's a misunderstanding. And the person feels like it should be small.
Yes.
You know, like it doesn't count. And for you, you're giving and you feel like I can't give anymore. And yet the person just thinks like, it's okay.
Yes.
So,
but conflicts are inevitable. Like, it's really hard to talk about love and we don't think about conflicts. They are bound to happen, especially between two people who are in love, expect the conflicts. But we realize that these conflicts sometimes are important. How important are these conflicts in a relationship?
Either way, when you're in a relationship and you've not had that misunderstanding and those like arguments, then there's something wrong with that relationship. It's either one of you is pretending, there's something plastic about it. Because when you're both real, you can't all be the same. You can't all love the same things. You all can't be like,
That is how people expect love to be now.
So even those misunderstandings, there's after like you've sorted out your issues, there's a way the bond keeps getting tighter and stronger. But these relationships where it's just always rosy and what, then
something is wrong.
Something wrong.
But for me, I thought love is all rosy. I'm tired of the thought.
Yeah, there's something.
But yeah, I think they help you. Like they even help you like grow closer. Yeah, like especially if you sort it out. So probably this pisses this person off, and then also you learn to be more careful with their feelings and what probably what hurts them, because it's through conflict that we learn, oh, this is hurting this person, oh, this person doesn't like this. So through this we learn what our partners want. Get to learn. Actually, you get to know people better.
Actually, when you say that, I remember in our early years of marriage, I remember when we could have like a conflict with my husband, I would withdraw. I would keep quiet, and then for him, he would I would just keep quiet and be like, okay, if you're not understanding that I am annoyed, let me just ignore you. So I would just keep quiet, and then for him, he would, continue like, speaking to you, and then that would anger me more, like that would annoy me more. I'm like, you're not recognizing that I'm not happy. You understand? So as years went by,
like, what is this supposed to do?
No, I mean, ask why I'm not.
But you want you happy.
You okay? Like, you're punishing things
as usual.
Yeah, but you just want to continue and life goes on.
It's also his way of showing you that me, I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm innocent.
That is the point.
Yeah. Because when he's reaching out, then he's like, yes, he knows what he did.
Yes.
So he's also like,
I don't know what you did. So I would really, really feel so bad. But as time went on, I realized that we are two different people, and how we react to such situations and conflicts is totally different. So it helped me, like, really to understand the person that I'm with, and him also to understand. So as time went on, I realized that he knows, when she withdraws, probably there is something wrong.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to point out was like sometimes you learn, I actually learned then, like they said, like what do you learn? Like probably someone's love language is not buying you presents like you would want them to. You know, much as you're buying, much as you're buying,
that is also a beginning of conflict. Like, you know, you take someone out and it's like, but me, I didn't want this kind of outing.
Flowers.
You know, buy the flowers.
So you see,
when they buy flowers.
So she doesn't like flowers, and I like flowers, and the other person. So that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes if you're out there and you feel like, oh, I've given and given and given, but I'm not being given back, and you feel probably demoralized, you feel probably you're not loved. Sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes it's not your partner's love language to give you back. Maybe his love language is to care for you when you're in a difficult situation. Like when you're going through something really so bad, he's there 100%. He will not buy the gift, but every time you're going through a hard time, you need to reflect and know, what does this person help me? What does he like? What are the positives? So look at those positives and know that that is his love language. So giving you this Valentine may not be his love language. Don't feel discouraged. Don't feel like, oh, he doesn't love me. But look at the way, which other situations does he handle? Probably when you're sick, he reaches out more. When you so maybe he's the comforting, kind of person. So it shouldn't be really what he's giving you, but it should be just learn to read your partner's love language and understand him, so that you don't conflict during this Valentine's. Expecting a present you won't get.
Most of us really fear conflicts, but they have that good side of it, because even communication, you know, when you're resolving your conflicts, there is a way you learn, because some of us, let me say not me actually, because the way I handle, sometimes I would want to, I used to want, like, you know, to give you my points. You know, you did this, and that. You know, that was me then. But then I learned that when we are resolving the conflicts, I need to also listen more to the other person. What do they have to say? Because you're thinking, I am being hurt. But even the other part is what?
Is hurting.
So I believe in conflict, when we have conflicts, we learn. If they're being resolved, we learn how to communicate better. We learn how to put out our, you know, to express.
Even through conflict, you can actually love yourselves better.
Yeah, true.
You know, because there is that kind of making up bit.
I know.
You become better.
When you're making up, and just like, so even when you're going into this conflict, go there with love. Don't, because you're not leaving this person. Conflict in love.
Don't go with a mind of.
Don't go like, I want to win. Just go with, I want to make it better. I want to make it sweeter. I want to, so don't conflict for the sake of, like, seeing that.
But we also grow, I remember the things I used to cry for, I can no longer cry for.
What are those?
Oh my God. The things that I really could cry about, and I'm like, he has done so, and then I would just see, tears. Maybe, okay, I'm really emotional, but I would cry for those things. But nowadays, I really can't cry. So I believe that in conflicts, we grow. It's a journey that we come growing. But also these conflicts, ladies, can be so destructive in a relationship. What are those?
There are some conflicts that have gone overboard and people have killed themselves. People have committed suicide, and they're thinking, if I can't be with this guy, I mean, if he can't love me, then my life has ended. So it has led to people dying just like that because of love.
Some actually lose that self-esteem. They lose who they used to believe in, because most times when we enter relationships, we come up with we go with this thing. This is who I am beautiful. He loves me because of this. So when they break up, when there is a conflict and things don't go well, there is that loss of self-esteem, that you don't feel your value anymore. You don't feel like anyone else can love you. Actually, I think that's why people go overboard and go on killing themselves, doing all sorts of things.
During conflict, sometimes we say very hurting, very hurting words to one another, and they keep on, haunting
anger.
Because you're just like, he said this.
Yes.
Like really, like probably also just said it out
Why
of
did he
spite,
have to
and
say?
but then you just keep it. You're just like, this guy has been thinking like this all along. But then he was also just throwing it. He threw in the statement or that word. So so it brings that you're always thinking, or probably this. So it can actually draw you like apart.
More
instead
apart.
of actually bringing you together. Closer. Conflict can also sometimes make you grow apart with your partner because of probably the way you communicated or articulated your words. So we need to be also very careful with that.
And sometimes it takes in even the children. You realize, like, you see families where the children are now like resented. They feel like maybe they don't belong to that family simply because of a conflict. So they can really be destructive.
And then even some conflicts can lead to like picking up of some behaviors. Someone becomes alcoholic. An alcoholic, someone who never even used to drink. Someone starts taking drugs, and because it makes them feel good, they become
in the
addicted,
moment.
As in, some people go out there and they're looking for attention that they did not get from this person, and they make a nuisance out of themselves. So it can lead to destructive
By the way,
behavior.
talking about that,
And
I realize
habits.
that it can also demoralize you.
Yeah, it can.
I have seen people like, because now what drives you, what has been driving you is this, everyday love that probably you're receiving from someone. And now the feeling of like, these things are not working out. You go to work and you really feel you can't do it, You find like someone is giving low input, like, yes. It really takes up a lot of our minds.
It does.
But, when we talk about conflicts, just like I said, that they're inevitable, they're bound to happen, and we must expect them in our relationships. But let's look at how best can we, first of all, which are these conflicts? Because there are very many. By the way, if we are to mention, I think we'll have a show on just conflicts. What are those things that loved ones or people do really conflict about? I believe there are so many if we are to mention. Now, like values, we can be having different values, and then we conflict. Religion,
politics,
trust, politics,
sports,
lots.
different sports teams, Arsenal and Manchester.
Let me tell you a story. There is a pastor who told us a story of a couple. They had, you see how you live in the same house, you're using the same things. So for them, they had toothpaste. And one person would press from down, and then another one would press in the middle. So, when you were telling us that story, I could not realize how it would really disturb someone, as in why, how. Until you realize that sometimes you also react on such things, telling the children, why are you pressing the toothpaste from the middle instead of pressing from down. So a number of things can really bring up conflicts. But today,
the way people use their washrooms.
Yeah, I know, right? Meanwhile, there is someone who just asked, I need to tell this story, that for her, one thing that turns her off is a man who cannot use washrooms properly. That is already a conflict, you can imagine. So there are a number of things that can bring conflicts. I think we'll have a show on such conflicts. But today we want to say how best can we manage and resolve these conflicts, because we've all seen that if they're not well managed, if they're not resolved, a lot can come out of that. People separate, and a number of things can really happen. How can we really manage?
How can we manage? I think it's putting aside your pride.
Yeah,
Pride.
Yeah,
One
and
of
it's the hardest thing.
It's the hardest thing.
One of the number one thing is like when someone has wronged you, as in going back and apologizing. Like you've wronged someone, apologize.
Yeah, sometimes people
sorry.
don't apologize.
Calm down, calm down. As in, even if you're high up there.
Emma, do you calm down?
I do.
You really calm down? I do. Anyway, you have, I see you.
Sometimes even if you're the person who is being wronged, for the sake
of peace.
Yeah, for the sake of peace. Yeah.
There are some people I'm imagining now, like I wronged you and I owe you an apology, and then you just probably do the nice things, just like the way some men do. Like the best way they can show you that they are sorry, they will buy you maybe a car, they will, you know, buy you land,
Anyway,
they will take you out. You understand? But now me, I am expecting you to come and say, baby, I am sorry. You understand?
But by the time he's buying
Some
you
people-
that,
some
that
people-
this
some
and
people
buying
don't
you
say
that,
that.
that is his way of saying sorry. So
Yes.
you just accept
Accept
it
it
and
and
move on.
move
You know,
on.
don't hold on to
Don't hold-
grudges.
No,
Yeah, I
even
know.
when he's talking, even if he doesn't say sorry, sometimes
At
when
times
he
Yes,
when
that
he
tone.
he's the
starts
first
talking,
if he's the one who is initiating all the
exactly,
conversation,
that
you
is
just
already
know
a
that person
sorry.
is
So
sorry
you just
enough.
know that this one is sorry.
Sometimes that tone can really tell, oh, okay, he's coming back.
Coming back.
He can even just decide to cover you that night.
That is enough.
What is another way that we can manage and resolve conflicts so that they cannot?
Communication.
Yeah, communication is very key actually. Because if you don't feeling well, let the person
Speak
know.
it out.
Yeah, let the person know. Like, I'm hurting. I'm not happy about this. Because sometimes we get mad. Women, we are tricky. Like, sometimes we get mad when even the guy doesn't know.
They don't
Doesn't.
even know what's
No, I've
going
told
on.
you.
You tell
I could
someone I'm
really
mad,
get
and then
annoyed
you tell
and
someone I'm mad,
withdraw.
and they're like, no, cause it.
Why?
But sometimes you guys know.
They pretend.
No, sometimes they pretend, but even then, it's a nice one because then he
I
wants
know.
to bridge the gap. Like, oh, I
Yes.
didn't know. So, like, your IQ just gets to know, like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he just wants to let it lie and go and whatever, but still talk about it.
We
'cause,
find a better way
yeah,
of
communication
communicating.
is always good. Yeah.
Key.
Wow, that's good.
Communication
I
is
also
key.
learned one thing that, when you have a conflict as a couple or anyone in a relationship, it's very important to detach, like to separate yourselves
Yeah.
from that problem or from that thing that has caused a conflict. Because we realize that conflicts cannot just rise up by themselves.
Yeah.
Something triggered that
Yeah.
anger, something triggered something. So you must detach and be like, okay, what is the problem here? Is it late coming? How do we resolve it? How do
Yeah.
we solve this problem? So that you do not pinpoint on your spouse telling it's you who comes late, it's me who comes late, like, you detach and find a better way of handling that issue so that it doesn't go beyond
Then
your control.
escalate.
How do you resolve your conflicts at home? Do you fight?
Me, like I said, I apologize. Whether I'm in the wrong, whether I'm not in the wrong, I will apologize.
That's nice.
I will always try to make the first move to show
To
that
make things.
to mend things.
Yeah.
When I realize that there's a distance, there's a gap, I'll always, jump in. As in, what's wrong? Is there something I did? Can we talk about it? What is it? So, like this said, communication. As in, put aside your pride.
But I realize that, when we are ready to solve, sometimes actually we solve conflicts when we are not aware that we are solving conflicts. But there are times when we are ready. Guys, I think that is not good. There is that readiness with a positivity of like,
Yeah.
can we talk about it? And,
Yeah.
and it gets well. But then this readiness of like, I have to show you. I have
Yeah.
to show you. I have to
I think
tell you
sometimes
that.
you just need to give yourself time a bit.
Yes.
So that you don't talk about it in
anger.
that anger.
Because
But then
usually
even
talk things
after, that is
give yourself
good.
like a day.
It's good to give yourself time. But then also when sometimes you can give yourself time, but then the time of
I don't like
talking
giving
about
time. I want to talk about it there and then.
tell us
Seriously.
there
But
and then.
I used to be that kind of person actually. Like, I would love to address it there. Let's
There and
address it.
then.
But then these days I just feel like I'm more chilled. Like, it's okay, let me give myself a day to reflect. Then probably I start seeing it in a different angle. And then so it gives me time to look at things differently, in a different perspective. And then I end up probably, being a bit more lenient to what I will listen to. Yeah, but I used to be, when you're very, you want to attack. Usually it's not so good actually. It's very hard to convince yourself to do
Yeah,
it.
true.
But actually it's very beautiful when you decide to say, let me start
Let
giving
me
it
step
time.
a bit.
Because I've been in your shoes. But like, time has taught me how to do things differently. Yeah, because I'm that kind of person. Like, I would love to talk. Let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. Watch it.
yes.
But then, like, like we said, like the more I'm growing up, you know, things change. And then just like, I just
Let me
don't
give
need
it
to, yeah,
time.
let me, probably when I give it time, sleep over it, I'll look at it in a different angle. And it has really happened. I look at it differently, and then I tell myself, why should I be sad over something like
Over
this?
something
Do I still want to be with this person? Yes, I want them. So let me let it go. And, you know, you heal yourself slowly, other than just attacking. Because you will attack him, he has his problems. Yeah. And then actually the funny thing is, you've all like quarreled or probably argued about it, it doesn't still give you the satisfaction.
Yes.
That's why I'm just like, oh, let me give it some time, because I've realized that most times I've done it, but I still stay hurt. Like even when the
Yes.
person has explained, I still feel like tuchayomba.
But also, just like you say, that sometimes you can attack. You know, let me just give an example. You see how you can be home and maybe you lose something, maybe your money, and then you start saying, who has taken my money? Or maybe the maid. Sometimes we you know, we
to
attack
conclusions.
the people in the home and be like, probably you're the person who took my money. I left it here. But after some days or after some, you remember that, oh, by the way, I used this money. By the way, this is how I spent it. So it's always good, I think, to give yourself time to reason things out, think through the situation,
Yeah.
know where your fault was, how the other person reacted, and then you can resolve it better.
Yeah.
Is there any other way? Maybe we will hear from our viewers. Please put them down there in the comment section. Tell us, how do you resolve those conflicts? How do you resolve? How do you manage them? How do you handle, in general, the conflicts? Thank you so much for watching us. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.